Good morning, family, friends, followers. Dr. Jimmy Henderson. Today I want to talk to you about something. I just gave a recent talk at the Shongweni Farmers Market in Durban about chaos and chaos theory, which is from my latest book, one of my latest books, Understanding Reality, available on Amazon, drafted digital. I use a scientific and psychological approach to understanding life's problems. And one of the issues I find is happening today is the world is going a bit crazy. There's wars, there's ignorance, there's fighting, there's violence, there's crime. And we ask ourselves, what is going on? Why are we having such a difficult time? I've been doing research into chaos theory, and I've come up with a couple of ideas which might appeal to you. The first thing is that scientists, as well as theologians and astronomers, and everybody agrees that during the first stages of creation, everything was chaotic. We had molten planets in the formation, we had gases, we had radiation, unbelievable types of radiation, chaotic energies taking place in the formation of early creation. And contrary to popular belief, this creation is not over. It's still in the process, because astronomers tell us and scientists tell us there's still stars in the process of being formed. There are star systems being formed. There are whole galaxies being formed, still taking place. A lot of change and chaos is out there. And although our Earth itself is reasonably stable and fully formed, there below the Earth we have a lot of chaos also. Volcanic activity, molten lava, and we have all the kind of problems we have, earthquakes and sliding tectonic plates, a lot of movement and activity. So I would like to first of all liken chaos energy. Chaos energy is a totally disruptive form of energy, unformed, unstructured, not ordered at all. And when it becomes ordered, whether by divine principle or just natural time, it settles down to a point where it looks relatively stable. But if you look beneath the Earth, for an analogy, look beneath the Earth, there's still that volcanic activity and all those molten lavas and things taking place, and instability, movement of plates, and it's actually chaotic underneath. Now this lends me to believe that reality is layered, the same as energy is layered and frequencies are layered in terms of times of scales. That chaotic energy has been ordered to a certain extent, but it still exists at a lower level, beyond what we can see and beyond what we can experience in most cases. As I say, my analogy is the Earth, which is reasonably settled, and underneath is all the volcanic activity which pops up from time to time. So I would like venture to say that chaos still exists at a low level, at a settled level, but it's still there. And it's still obviously giving rise to problems from time to time, where we see in natural disasters. What is not that well known is that chaos actually enters the human body. You can imagine the early ages of evolution, that chaotic energy actually would be part of our DNA. To the extent that we have these natural drives, instincts, animal instincts, primal instincts, drives that create a lot of problems for us if they do come out. For instance, the drive of aggression and rage, the drive of selfishness, of ego, of violence, and sexual depravity. Those drives still exist at a very deep level in the human mind. They've been controlled to a large extent now by the development of the brain and what we call cognitive control. In other words, the frontal areas of the brain are able to then control and manage. We are able to manage those instincts and drives to a certain extent. And that's what we're supposed to be doing. However, those instincts still exist at a very deep level. Those drives, the energy, the emotions still exist at a very deep level. And we can call those chaotic, part of the chaotic energies that originally were there with early man. And the funny thing is that that wasn't a problem in those days. It was actually necessary. You can imagine a time when the world was governed by vicious animals and predators and other cavemen who wanted to kill you and take your wives and take your food. That violence and aggression was necessary to protect yourself and protect your family. And the selfishness we call selfishness today was just a drive to hoard food for the winter and protect it from animals and from other thieves, cavemen or early man who would want to steal your food and take your food. So that hoarding was natural. They had to do it in order to survive. Also, sex, which we call depravity today, was actually natural for them. Just, like you see the analogy of the guy grabbing the cave woman by the hair and dragging her to his cave. I don't think that's too far-fetched, because there was very little cognitive control in those days. It was basic sexual drives, and the guy had to have a mate and he had to have children to protect, to build a tribe, to build a group which offered safety in numbers. So all those little drives were very natural in the early days. I'm talking about 1 million years ago now, possibly, when things were not the same as they are now. Now, over the years and over the centuries and over the millennia, we should have gained more morality. In fact, compassion and empathy is a relatively recent development from the brain. Those centers have only recently developed that support that kind of caring and empathy. So I would imagine that we are in the process still of evolving. But the unfortunate thing is that those drives do persist. That chaos is still present in our DNA. We're just able to control it for the most part, but not all the time. When our consciousness is lowered through alcohol, through drugs, through things like stressful emotional experiences like road rage, anger, vicious anger, narcissistic ambition, egos, those sort of drives are still there, and they come out. And that's what causes some people to be very unpleasant and become what we call an angry person, and possibly violent and criminal, they become criminal because they're no longer conforming to society's norms. And all those primal drives are actually driving the people to this. And this is where we get sociopaths and psychopaths, where these people don't have that kind of control, cognitive control, and they just do what they want to. They've got no conscience, and they'll just use you, manipulate you, and take what they want. So that does still exist, unfortunately, in the human body, and it comes out during times, as I said, of low consciousness, of alcohol abuse, of drug abuse, of rage, hate, and it's something we have to live with. And we actually should be working on through inner work to improve this, to take better control of our drives, and which are primal drives, which are there. So therefore I want to ask the question, now what is the purpose of chaos? Is there a purpose to it? And I say yes, there is a purpose to it. If we look at chaos as lying just below the surface, there's an activity taking place, a struggle between order and chaos, okay? And chaos can produce change. In other words, where there's total order, there can be stagnation. And a human level, it becomes a comfort zone, where we're not doing anything. We're quite happy just to go along day for day, and we're taking it easy, no stress, no problems. But we're not actually doing anything. We're not actually developing. We're not actually improving ourselves. And then something comes along, a horrible experience, crime or mugging or something, or the house is broken into, or robbery or something like that, and it shakes your whole world up. And now you have to adapt. Now you have to adjust. Now you have to build skills necessary to cope with this kind of thing. And in building those skills, in building that and coping with that, we develop resilience. And resilience, therefore, is a skill. And it comes from having to deal with challenges, having to deal with problems, and which are caused by chaos, caused by this internal stuff, or the chaos in the external environment. Because other people are also subject to this chaotic energy, and they also can do nasty things. So, in coping with chaos, in coming to deal with chaos, in bringing order to chaos, we could say that is the purpose of the human being. In other words, we are here as part of the process, universal process, to bring order to chaos. And in doing that, we do it in our personal lives, and we do it in the society out there. We all try to help and bring order to chaos and help other people. So yes, chaos has a function in that it shakes things up. Nothing happens in stagnation. As I said, we can sit and do nothing, and then everything is perfect, but we are not doing anything, we're not achieving anything. And our comfort zones, certainly, they always say that success lies just the other side of the comfort zone. And when we get these chaotic situations in our lives, and we process them correctly, we can develop and improve ourselves as a result. And therefore, chaos is natural. In a way, it's part of development, it's part of transformation, and we need to understand that and accept that and learn to work with that and bring order to chaos. And why is it particularly happening at this point? We see all the wars taking place in the world, we see all the stress, we see the people, mental disorders. As a scientist, I believe in natural cycles, and that I think we're just going through a natural cycle now of increased solar activity, increased radiations from all over the universe. We're going through an astrological cycle, astronomical cycle, and it's causing a lot of tensions in the world. It's bringing these chaotic energies to the fore. The people who are subject to them are behaving irrationally, causing wars, and it's just something we're going to have to ride out. I just hope that in the future this will settle down and that we will be able to live reasonably comfortably again. So this is a stage of transformation, a stage of development, a natural cycle, and we can take hope from that it will pass, everything will pass eventually, and that we will get to a better position. So I want to encourage you to have a look at my book, Understanding Reality, available on Amazon, Draft to Digital. I've taken this talk from this book, and I hope that you found it interesting, and I wish you all the best.